Come on in, pull up a chair, take a load off. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again here in the newly revamped Duct Tape Studios. Maha! So welcome once again to the Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of The Gaming Gang. So if this is your first time joining me, welcome aboard. I know we might have some folks tuning in. And I'm talking about this beauty. I'm not talking about this. I'm not even implying any sort of beauty there, right? So if you're a first-time viewer, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you out there who watch all the time, thanks for coming back. Deodorant really works. It helps. I'm telling you. People don't believe that. Anyway, tonight is Monday, November 23rd, 2020. This is episode 577 of The Daily Dope. All right, we're going to jump in. I got a lot of news tonight, so we're going to be jumping into some of this in just a bit. But few things that I do want to tackle. First off, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it will not only let you know when the live stream airs Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also tell you when I upload other videos as well, such as my unboxing of Caesar, Rome versus Gaul from GMT Games. This unboxing will be up a little later on tonight. It's already uploaded. It just isn't public yet. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Because this is a live stream, that means chat is available. It's not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, please chime in. I will do my best to respond. So a Gray Day was first out the gate, saying hello in chat. My high school friend, Scott Weagle, is hanging out as well. Martin O'Brien is joining us once again. Flaming Heron is here. And Ibram is also in chat, as well as the Madman has arrived. Good deal. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so you do notice behind me, it's all different. So I am going to share. Now, if you watched episode 500, you got a little behind the scenes look at what the Duct Tape Studios actually really looks like. And of course, it's just a corner of a basement. It's what it is. Oh my gosh, have I completely ruined the magic for you? So anyway, so I shared, you know what it looks like. And I mean, it's really not much. It really isn't. Off these shelves. But shelving's not inexpensive. So this is what the Duct Tape Studios look like on Saturday morning. There you go. There is the Duct Tape Studios Saturday morning before I jumped in. Oh, looks like we're getting some dropped frames here. What is going on? All right, come on, come on. Things have been really good as of late. In fact, we've had some shows where we had 0 drop frames. So is this dropping down? What are we doing here? Taking a look. Because we just hit something that it dropped a bunch. So Flaming Heron's pointing out that, yeah, what's going on? I'm getting some lag. Yeah, it was some sort of a hiccup here. Looks like we're okay now. It's like we've evened out. So anyway, this is what the Duct Tape Studios look like Saturday morning. And I was like, I got to do something about this. So one thing I will point out, if you notice, if you look towards the bottom of the shelves, there's boxes and stuff. Those have to go there because a certain kitty who does not belong to me, not my cat, just wants to pee in a specific spot that is in front of it. In fact, if you look close, you'll see there's a blue cat box, a litter box right there, because that is the location that, for some reason, she is drawn to it. I've done everything outside of, like, shaving the stone, the cement. Anyway, so we have the new revamped Duct Tape Studios with the black shelving, the black cube shelving behind me. I had thought of maybe kind of getting rid of the bokeh so that, the games behind me were super clear and stuff. I still like the background not being real clear because, for one, when you're if you're watching like on a phone, or you're just watching on your laptop, or like a regular PC monitor or something like that, a tablet, the background actually is relatively in focus. So it's not completely in focus, but it is just simply an aesthetic that I like, because the focus should be not like I'm like got some weird ego thing, but the focus should be on me. It should not be people sitting there going, "Oh, look, Jeff's got that game from Dan Burson Games. Weird." Brian Gronberg and Kabuki Kid are in chat with us. Good to see you both. Double K's in the house. So that is the first thing. Second thing is, and I know the Madman has encountered this, if you follow me on Twitter, I announced that this will be the final week of the Daily Dope. So, as Ibram says, I see Forbidden Lands. I forgot, I didn't say hello to Ibram. Anyway, so Fleming Heron says, doesn't quite seem the same place anymore. So used to seeing the white shelving. Yeah, I know. Scott's like, what? Focus on Jeff? What a revelation. You'd be amazed. We would have people, when it was all in view with way worse cameras, there would be a lot of people in chat. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. There were people in chat to be like, oh, wow, Jeff's got 1960 from GMT. It's like, okay. Which you can still see. 1960 GMT from GMT, just off to the side here. So anyway, yes, I bit the bullet and I did get some new shelving. Anyway, so as I was saying, this is the last week of the Daily Dope. If you follow me on Twitter, you ran across my announcement. All right, so first off, do not panic. Not like you'd panic. It's like, don't start shedding a tear. Not that you would shed a tear. The Daily Dope. Okay, so first off, this stream is not daily. And yes, I know the Daily Show is not daily, but they can get away with it. They've been around forever. But this stream is not daily. And by calling it the Daily Dope, And it's dope for two reasons. One, because I can be kind of dopey sometimes, but also dope as in the scoop, the news. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of people think when they see dope, first thing that they think of is drugs. So Brian Gradberg says, I'm not sure if I'll shed a tear, but my eyes might water. Yes, because dust got in my eyes. So Scott says, making offers on shelf contents based on the amount of dust accumulation. Well, there's no dust on anything now. Tore everything apart. There was very little room to maneuver in this area when I was putting the shelving together because, of course, everything was gone. I had the games all over the place. And I do have games that do not make it in the shot. So I still have I got to be honest, I still have the white shelving, and it's holding other stuff. It's holding other games in that. And I do have games in boxes as well. So that's why there's going to be an auction. I'm trying to look at maybe December 1st. Anyway, back to the Daily Dope. So first of all, like I said, it's not daily. Number two, I don't think enough people pick up on the dope as in the news, or maybe I'm goofy or what have you. They think it's like about drugs. In fact, that's why I didn't stream on Twitch after like the first week. I would get people popping in and be like, hey man, I thought this was like about getting baked. And it's like, no, it is not. It's not about getting baked. So, like I said, this is the last week of the Daily Dope because it is going to be replaced. Same schedule, same time, same bat channel with the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or just the Dispatch. So we will just be calling it the Dispatch for short. And if people can't figure, at least there's no, nobody's going to sit there and be like, oh man, is that show about getting stoned? No. Don't have anybody, don't have to worry about that anything at all. So Brian Kronberg says, solid rebranding choice. Sorry, I'm tying my shoe here. It's bothering me. That I don't know why. It's just sitting there untied. I'm not going anywhere, but it's just kind of bothering me a little bit. So anyway, so yes. So those of you who follow me on Twitter, and you really should follow me on Twitter because you get like all the news and stuff delivered to you. So you get all the links to go check things out. Damn, we're dropping again. I got to take a look here. It's not too bad as far as our drop frames, but it looks like we're probably going to be in the market for a reboot on the modem. Again, Dan from No Enemies Here has arrived. Probably heard that the Daily Dope is no more after this week, and he came to rub salt in everybody's wounds. I'm kidding. Anyway. So, there you have it. Next week, the show is going to be called the Gaming Gang Dispatch. I'll just call it the Dispatch, or TGG Dispatch. So, I am going to keep the numbering the same. I am not going to be like, oh, this is episode 1. Because to me, that'd be stupid. I'm not Marvel Comics, right? I don't need to be like, hey, another number 1. This is a premiere. Every time you turn around, it's a premiere, another premiere. Yeah, it's the first issue of Captain America for the 23rd time. So yeah, there you go. Flaming Heron says, no, Dan's just showing up to make sure you're going to continue using his tune at the start of the show. Yes, that is true. Flaming Heron is correct. Dan Pancaldi of No Enemies Here provides the opening music for the show. So Dan says, did I miss something? Are you not doing this anymore, Jeff? No, that's not the case, Dan, although I think people thought that was what was going to happen. I know I played it kind of coy, by tweeting out that this was the last week for the Daily Dope. It is the last week. I'm just changing the name once again, in case Dan missed it. It's going to be the Dispatch. Just going to call it the Dispatch. All right. Anyway, so that's what's cooking. We've got a lot going on. We got some fun ahead of us. So the Madman says, love the show music. Madman's just saying that because Dan's here. Because there's been times Dan's not here and the Madman's like, God, I hate that music. Jeff, you need new opening music. Boy, I tell you, Madman. No, I'm just teasing. I'm joking. I'm kidding around. So Dan's like, ooh, I like it. Cool beans. Cool beans. All right. So let's jump on into the news. I've got other stuff we're going to talk about as well, and I'm going to share. There's a lot hitting up. What the hell is what? Jeez, can I not speak English? So the Madman's like, damn it, Jeff, you were supposed to tell Dan. Uh-oh. All right, we hit 0 for a second there. All right, I'm telling you, boy. All right, let me try one thing here. I'm going to go into my settings. Sometimes this helps clear things up. Sometimes it doesn't do anything. So sometimes if I change the output, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I apologize if those out there watching are getting some lag, things like that. I don't know. Don't know, because like I said, for the past, we had a week where it was just awful, and then I rebooted the modem and everything else, and then we were great. I mean, we were pristine. We were getting like 0 drop frames for some episodes. Tonight, I don't know. All righty then. Let's move on into my first news piece, because arriving next spring, yes, I know, it's weird to be like, well, next spring, and now it's like, well, we're already at the end of November. So Flaming Heron says, I think your internet might need the Thanksgiving Day break. I don't know. It's Comcast. It's, I don't know. And I got to be honest, we have another provider here that supposedly offers like 200 up at about the same price, but I have heard really bad things about this company. So I'm like, at least, I got the devil I know. I don't know if I want to dance with the devil I don't. Anyway, next spring's going to see the release of a new family game from AEG. I've got this dope on Sheepy Time. I don't know, that name just cracks me up. You are one of the dream sheep, the sheep that people count in order to drift off to dreamland. It's funny, when I first saw Dream Sheep, I was thinking Dream Team. It's like, oh, wow, you're like one of the most awesome sheep. No, Jeff, it's the sheep that people count to go to sleep. Each time you jump the fence, you help your person fall asleep easier. But the nightmares that haunt these dreams threaten a rude awakening. On a turn in Sheepy Time, you play one of 2 cards in your hand to move around the circle, potentially activating neat effects, while jumping the fence each time you complete a lap to put yourself in position to earn more points. When refilling your hand, however, if you draw a nightmare card, you have to activate the nightmare. And if it crosses your path, your human may be scared awake, which means you'll earn no points this round. How far do you dare push your Z's to prove you're the dreamiest sheep of all? Sheepy Time is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes. This game is actually going to hit stores on May 14th. Can't believe they actually have a release date that far out. But that is what the distributors are telling stores. It's going to carry an MSRP of $39.99. Looks kind of interesting. It's got a little visual flair to it. I like the little nightmare thing. There's like a devil. It's like a devilish wolf or something like that that's chasing this sheep. All righty then. Arriving in the first quarter of next year from Kolossal Games is Hunt the Ravager. Here's the dope. A vengeful samurai is risen from beyond the grave, seeking the ruin of the empress that betrayed him. Wouldn't it be who betrayed him? I would have thought it would be that. Maybe I'm just being a little too much of a grammar Nazi. In search of 3 imperial treasures, the spirit ravages all in his wake. Now the Empress must call upon her 3 most trusted hunters to locate the Ravager before he exacts his card-driven game of hidden movement, where 2 to 4 players will each take turns as the Ravager or the hunters seeking him. The Ravager will score points for destroying the land and successfully returning treasures. I need a sip. And successfully returning treasures to his hidden lair. The hunters will need to quickly locate the Ravager to protect the treasures and minimize the ruin to the Empress's lands. Hunt the Ravager includes hidden movement, card-based asymmetric gameplay for 2 to 4 players with a feudal Japan theme. Beautifully presented with artwork from the acclaimed Andrew Bosley, who used to work for Charlie. Modular game board and point-based rather than binary victory conditions, which makes each game played completely unique. Hunt the Ravager is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of, I believe, $25 when it arrives next year. So, not sure. Like I said, the pricing is kind of based on what the Kickstarter went for. And this is actually a game that had been planned to kickstart back in, I think, 2018. And then they didn't launch it. And then I think it was supposed to be in 2018, 2019. And this did successfully kickstart earlier this year. So, good deal. Let's see here. So, chat has suddenly stopped. So I wonder if I've lost chat here, because we did hit a point where we were at like 0 as far as our frames, but I don't know. We'll find out. Moving right along. Draco Ideas has a new war game which is arriving in the second quarter of next year. I've got the dope on Help Arrives. On July 18th, 1936, various generals in the Spanish army rose up against the government of the Second Republic. The failure of the coup, as it had been originally planned, gave way to a civil conflict between the defenders of the democratic government and the backers of the military coup. Machado's 2 Spains fought each other for nearly 3 years in a battle which reflected the political and social tensions affecting the world at that time. The opposing armies were very different. On one hand, the Republican Army possessed a limited number of professional soldiers and many popular militias belonging to political parties and labor unions. To this were added the international brigades, formed from foreign volunteers of diverse origin, a fighting force which was highly motivated but poorly coordinated and typically poorly organized. On the other hand, the army of Franco had most of the professional military, along with Carlist and fascist militias, among many native Moroccan troops, and volunteers of the Condor Legion and the Corpo Truppe Volontiere, sent by Hitler and Mussolini, respectively. From a military point of view, the Spanish Civil War presaged the global conflict, which would soon erupt. In the mid-1930s, military high commands from all over the globe theorized on the possibilities of motorized armies and lightning war. Both Nazis and Soviets rehearsed armored tactics in Spain and tested various types of weapons. In addition, the importance that air superiority would have on all later conflicts was made clear. All of these elements make the Spanish Civil War a fascinating conflict from a historical point of view and with regard to military strategy. Help Arrives, HA, is a standalone game in the Warstorm series, 100% compatible with Alas Barricadas, including the international help received by the Nationalist and Republican, as well as many other units that fought on both sides during the Spanish Civil War. The International Brigades, the Italian Corpo Troppe Volontarie. Help Arrives is for 1 or 2 players, so there is some solitaire included in this, some solitaire gameplay. It's for ages 14 and up, plays around 2 hours, and will carry an MSRP of around $50, supposedly, when it arrives in May. Cool. Very cool. I believe Draco Ideas used to release their games through Compass, but they don't anymore. So I am not sure in the US who this is going to come through, because I believe Draco Ideas is an Italian company. So Brian Gronberg says, I didn't know there were Carlists who supported Franco. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll tell you one thing. I do find the Spanish Civil War a very interesting conflict, but it is also still a very touchy subject in Spain all this time later. So it really, really tore the country apart, and just some of the things that each of the sides did to civilians is just appalling. But I like the look of this. I really do dig the artwork on the counters. Very, very cool. Even though it is, you know, side views of the vehicles and that. All right, so it looks like everybody's still hanging out in chat, or at least chat is still working. So Kabuki Kid points out, yes, those were not happy times. No, and it was really the kind of dress rehearsal for World War II, especially with the aircraft, especially with the Luftwaffe, as far as I've always understood. I am not extremely well versed in the Spanish Civil War. I did read a general history of it one time, and I have an audiobook I haven't listened to in a long time that I listened to a few years back. That's about it. So very, very interesting. And if this is a $50 game, this seems like a pretty rocking game for 50 bones. All right, let's move on and start talking about some role-playing game news, because Fire Ruby Designs has a new supplement for the very popular Warlock role-playing game. I've got the dope on Warlock Goblins. This supplement for Warlock, the old-school role-playing game inspired by the early days of British tabletop gaming, explores, anybody want to guess? Goblins, obviously enough, in the kingdom. They're the children of the dragon. Goblins aren't evil any more than any community can be said to be evil, but their god dragon drives them in ways that can seem very destructive to the people of other realms. Still, as with any community, variations exist, and some goblins live and work within the kingdom in relative peace and in harmony with the other communities present. This supplement fleshes out the goblin community, explains their sometimes irrational behavior from the point of view of other communities in the kingdom, and presents some new careers that allow goblin player characters to be part of your game. Finally, a goblin settlement is detailed complete with an adventure focusing on goblins with a very nasty scheme. Right now, you can get the 84-page PDF of Warlock Goblins. See, we got the little exclamation point, so I got to put a little, right? Can't just say Warlock Goblins. It's got to be Warlock Goblins. You can get the PDF at DriveThruRPG. It is on sale right now. I don't know how long the sale is going to last. It's for $6.64. I think it's going to be like $11, $13, something like that is going to be the normal PDF price. So if you like goblins and you're digging old school Renaissance, or you like Warlock, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Warlock. What's the other one? The science fiction one. I almost said Starstruck. I know that's not it. Fire Ruby Designs has a science fiction game, which I believe uses the same mechanics as Warlock. And like I said, I've heard it's really good. A lot of people are really enjoying it. All right, so Warp Star, thank you, Ibram. In fact, I thought Ibram's like associated somehow with Fire Ruby Designs. Once again, wish these folks had a website because I would share that link instead of Drive Through RPG. All right, my final news piece. There is a new adventure supplement and sourcebook for Vampire the Masquerade from Onyx Path Publishing. I've got the dope on Let the Streets Run Red. What motivates an undead body to go on walking, talking, plotting, and biting? The hunger is an obvious motivation. It drives all vampires to commit foul acts in the name of sustenance. The beast, too, gives a kindred drive. Whether in fear of the beast within or in attempts to master it, that constant nagging growl makes an undead monster march on. Touchstones, those throbbing links to mortality so many vampires hold dear, might drive a vampire to kill just to protect someone none the wiser to their guardian's bestial nature. Politics, philosophy, war, brinkmanship, they make a vampire think, feel, and fight for something, whether it be tangible or ethereal. These things give a kindred meaning. Whether letting the beast rage in the gun-happy south side of Chicago, chasing prey around the loop, plotting out in Gary, or fleeing the Inquisition into the murky swamps of rural Illinois, Chicago always gives a kindred an activity or two to fill up their nights. The one certainty is that blood will flow. It will flow, and the streets will turn red by dawn. Let the Streets Run Red includes 4 full stories to play over multiple game sessions, each handling a different core theme from Vampire the Masquerade. These chronicles can be played independently of each other or in sequence. Deep coverage of the vampire domains of Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, and Gary, some of those cities' undead inhabitants. A cast of kindred with biographies, ambitions, intrigues, links to other characters, and ways to include them in any chronicle, whether as antagonists, a supporting cast, or inspiration for playable characters. There's new lore sheets for inclusion in your game, allowing player characters to start with a foot, claw, or fang already planted in the roots of the chronicles within this book and beyond. 9 ready-made characters so you can start playing any of the chronicles in this book immediately. This 252-page PDF is available at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. You can score the premium hardcover, which is color, and PDF combo for $49.99, or the standard hardcover and PDF for $39.99. Very cool, very cool. Nice to see Chicago getting that, getting the attention for Vampire the Masquerade. Granted, this is Onyx Path Publishing, but they did the Chicago Chronicle book, and I love that because Vampire the Masquerade, White Wolf Publishing, was out of Chicago, and they did a lot of splat books that were about Chicago. In fact, their Chicago source book was one of their most popular source books. All right. Ibram says that, yes, he has written some stuff for Fire Ruby Designs and says they go to Gary for swamps. Yeah. Yes, being someone who lives in the Chicagoland area, I've been through Gary many a time. And of course, Indianapolis, home of Gen Con. Nice. Kevin R. Smith has arrived in chat. Good to see you, Kevin. Welcome aboard. Just as the news is coming to an end, do want to mention that, of course, the last 2 news pieces I did talk about DriveThruRPG, the gaming gang, thus the Daily Dope, soon to be the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to swing over to, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our ads, and that way, if you do happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And those nickels, dimes, and quarters all add up. And a big thanks to everybody out there who does use those links, because there are quite a people who do, and that really does, on a monthly basis, pretty much keep the Gaming Gang website around. Much appreciated. So we were talking about Vampire the Masquerade, and there was a news piece that came out last week. Ibram says, I like the Dispatch. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's not like I expect suddenly we'll have like 1,000 people watching, but I do think that the use of the word dope in the title has kind of, how would I put this? De-incentivized YouTube from sharing the videos with people who don't normally watch this show. So anyway, so there was this news piece about Renegade Game Studios and Vampire the Masquerade, and that they were going to be the publisher for Vampire the Masquerade, which is 5th edition right now. Does that mean Modiphius is completely out? Yes. I looked into it. Modiphius Entertainment is not going to be publishing Vampire the Masquerade anymore. They were mainly doing the... Yeah, so Kevin says, I expect it's more that dope is also a drug-related word. Yes, Kevin, we did discuss that earlier in the show. So yes, that most people don't look at, oh, the dope, like the news, the scoop, and Jeff's a dope sometimes. No, it's, yeah, we get it. Anyway. So yes, Modiphius Entertainment will not be publishing Vampire the Masquerade any longer. And I think the license ends the first of the year. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. So once again, this is just my opinion, right? I just float this stuff out there. I understand the reason why Renegade Game Studios is now going to be the publisher for Vampire the Masquerade is because they were working with Paradox Interactive. I always try to remember what they're known as now. Paradox Interactive, as far as the card game that's coming out for Vampire the Masquerade from Renegade Game Studios. I for some reason, I want to say it's a deck building game. I might be wrong. So I guess they really had a great time working together. So now Renegade is going to publish Vampire. So here's the thing. And it might have to do with maybe Modiphius, maybe Chris Birch and the team over at Modiphius just had a lot of fires, irons and a lot of fires, I guess I'll say. Because they've got loads and loads of stuff out there. They've got tons of licenses. As Ibram points out, they've got Star Trek. They got Conan. Dune is coming. They've got Fallout. Maybe Paradox didn't feel that Vampire was getting the kind of attention that they wanted from Modiphius. And they feel that, well, Renegade, they've done some role-playing games. They should be able to, really make sure that Paradox is profiting from their purchase of Vampire the Masquerade. I got to be honest, I don't see it happening. And nothing against Renegade Game Studios. I don't think they've got the experience. I don't think they've got the team together. Because if we look at the role-playing games that have come out from Renegade Game Studios, we've got Kids on Bikes, really good. That's in conjunction with Hunter's Entertainment, which used to be Hunter's Books. We've got Kids on Brooms and Kids in Space, which are all just based on Kids on Bikes. I haven't seen either of them, so I can't tell you what they're like. I assume they're fine. Now, we also have Outbreak Undead 2nd Edition, which is hot garbage. I don't care what anybody out there says. It is hot garbage if you were going to try to run that game. Then we also have, what was it? Overlight was sort of the science fantasy game, that role-playing game that Renegade Game Studios came out with. And it was very undercooked as far as, it was more game concept than game mechanics. And I thought it had some promise, but like I said, when I did a review of it, I thought it was pretty undercooked. And there's been a little bit of support for the game, but really nothing after that. Just like Outbreak Undead. They came out with their like core books. That's been a few years now. At least 3 years. Nothing much. So I don't know. I kind of get the impression that Paradox might be making a mistake teaming up with Renegade to do role-playing games. Again, I might be completely wrong, and Renegade does a fantastic job. It's just, if I were shopping for a company to handle my role-playing game, I don't think I'd be looking at Renegade. Anyway, so we've got Big Clue in chat. I believe this is the first time visit for Big Clue, who I'm taking a guess that nickname is from the Big Kluzinski, the ball player, used to play for Cincinnati Reds. Taking a guess. Big Clue says, yeah, they're old enough to remember when the dope was the skinny, the news, etc. Sporting News used to publish an annual dope book with all of these stats from the previous year. Yes. So Brian Greinberg says, does anyone know how Paradox ended up with the video game rights to World of Darkness? They not only got the video game rights, they own Vampire the Masquerade. All of it. They've got it. It's theirs. I believe they also own Werewolf. I think. Now, that's not all the World of Darkness releases out there, because obviously enough, there are other games that Onyx Path Publishing publishes as well. And I believe they're still going to continue to publish Vampire the Masquerade content as well. It's not Renegade's just the only one. So anyway, so Ibram says, curious they didn't go to Free League. They've collaborated in the past, I should say. Yeah, a little surprised, but yes, as Ibram points out, Free League's got a ton on their plate as well. But you know what? For some reason, I think Free League would have been probably a good idea. I don't know. Once again, I'm not trying to knock Renegade Game Studios. It's just, that's like sitting there and I'd say, well, miniatures games, I would like to see Game Right make miniatures games. You're like, what? Game Right does family games. They do kids games, family-friendly games. They don't do miniatures games. Jeff, what's wrong with you? That's kind of how I mean. I don't really see Renegade Game Studios as being a great fit for Vampire the Masquerade. Anyway, just my take on all that. So talking about also the Gale Force 9 lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast. It is the second recent lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast. As far as, once again, this is something that I know people have been curious about. It seems very kind of convoluted, to be honest. And I guess Gale Force 9 is suing Wizards of the Coast. They want $950,000 because Wizards Wizards wanted to get out of their contract with them early and couldn't. So basically, Wizards just sat there and said, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Not good enough. Every time Gale Force 9 would turn around and say, okay, well, here's this. How's this? No. So I don't know what to tell you. On one hand, I can see where Gale Force 9 is certainly coming from. On the other hand, I can see where Wizards of the Coast is coming from as well, because Gale Force 9 has a very bad habit of outsourcing things to other companies and not being very transparent about it. That's why Gale Force 9 is not known. I mean, they've got some decent games. They've got some decent licenses, I guess. But I don't know. There's just something funky about Gale Force 9. There's just something reminds me of it. Just something doesn't feel above board about them. I don't know what it is about them. I mean, you know, I'm sure they're completely legit. It's just when you outsource stuff to other companies for them to produce things for, or like produce games or what have you, molds and stuff like that. And then there's like problems with the production chain and things like that. And then you just leave your customers like in a lurch. Don't like give them any updates and stuff. That's, yeah. So Ibram said, Modifius is working on a Dune RPG. Yeah, I know. 2D20 is a decent platform, and I'm sure they'll do their homework for this setting. Probably. So Kevin Smith mentions that WotC is using the same tactics that led to the suit by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. So, okay, so from what I understand here, and you know what, we're gonna circle back to this because there's something else I was gonna discuss that I've had a few people ask, like I would know anything. Like I have this skinny. I mean, there are companies that I know people from, and I find things out behind the scenes, and I have to sit on it. I have to like have it embargoed, or I've had companies talk to me like off the record, so that means I can't share it with you. But as far as like Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, I don't have like an in. So yes, I know I get stuff early and I do reviews and things like that, but that's from a PR company. That's not even from Wizards of the Coast. So, like I said, we're going to circle back, but wanted to share who the winner is for my alternate art cover edition of D&D Tasha's Cauldron of Everything from the aforementioned Wizards of the Coast. And it is SLR Jetsetter 96. So, SLR Jetsetter 96, please contact me at jeffmcaleer at thegaminggang.com so I can confirm your identity for one, and I will get this out to you. Keeping in mind, if you live in the U.S., I'm taking care of the shipping. If you live outside the U.S., you do have to pay for the shipping. So if SLR Jetsetter 96 decides maybe they live outside the country and they weren't aware that they had to pay for the shipping, even though I mentioned it twice in the videos. If that's the case, stay tuned. But SLR Jetsetter 96 is the winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so talking about D&D. Talking a little about these lawsuits with WotC and that. So I've had people asking me, when do I think we are going to see 6th edition Dungeons and Dragons? Because I guess some websites are out there talking about that probably within the next year or so, we should start seeing mention of maybe playtesting for 6th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And one of the things that they base that on is the amount of time that 4th edition was out before 5th edition well, first it was D&D Next. Remember that D&D Next? When they were doing the play testing. In fact, I remember we went to a big event from Wizards of the Coast it was at Gen Con, and of course we were press, so open bar and stuff like that. I mean, although it was open to the public as well. And then we had a big after party that we went to. That was a lot of fun. Wizards of the Coast has always treated me really well, so I don't have anything against Wizards of the Coast. Then again, flip side of that coin, I'm not here to stick my nose up their ass either. But anyway, so I guess various different outlets are talking about that we should be seeing a 6th edition of D&D within the next couple of years. I completely disagree. I don't think we will see a 6th edition of D&D that quickly. Ibram points out 5e's doing relatively well versus 4. Oh, it's not relatively well. It's phenomenally better. So there are a lot of people who despised 4th edition. Yeah. So I don't see that. Now, Kevin Smith says, my guess is not until around 2024. Tasha's Cauldron is obviously a test bed, but I think we're still a few years away, particularly since 5e's been a success while 4e was a flop. Right. Very, very true. 5e is the big clue. Just jumped in, took the words right out of my mouth. 5e is the best-selling D&D of all time. It is. I know, it sounds weird because I would have thought 1st edition because it was around for so long. But no, 5e is the best-selling edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Wizards of the Coast feels that they've got the right mix as far as crunch and accessibility. So yeah, I don't think they're jumping on any big, like, I guess there's some websites out there, and I guess these are, do I want to say one of them's Polygon? I forget who somebody, excuse me, I've had a couple of people email me and ask, and one of them, I don't remember exactly what sites they were talking about. I took a peek at a couple of the articles, and I was like, what? And they were coming from, in my opinion, they were coming from sources that I would not be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to you for my tabletop gaming news. It was not IGN as an example, right? But I use IGN as an example because IGN loves to share videos for D&D stuff because Wizards of the Coast like gives them like free reign to be early on everything and kind of cuts some of the rest of us out a little bit. And it's kind of like, seriously, IGN? People don't go to IGN for their tabletop news. They just don't. Nothing against IGN. I'm just saying, it's like, you know, you don't go to the Dice Tower for your Xbox X news, do you? No, of course not. Anyway, yeah, so I don't see it. I don't see that. In fact, I don't even know about 2024. I think 2024 might be a little early on that. Here's something else that I thought was very interesting as far as sales-wise. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is blowing the doors off sales-wise because it's player-facing. It is mainly player-facing. Yes, there is a Dungeon Master's Tools chapter in here, but a great majority of the content in this book is player-facing, and it is outselling like GM-facing, even like adventures in that. So I know it's outselling Rime of the Frost Maiden easily in the amount of time it's been out. So yes, 50th anniversary. Yes, I think Wizards of the Coast has something big planned for that. I think they do. And it is possible that's where they would roll out a new edition. I don't think that we are going to see huge, massive changes. So Big Clue says when, what to expect in the next edition. Is standard filler. Yes. He's right on the money. Just like, I love these channels out there. And you know what? Whatever people want to do to entertain other people, that's fine. But I crack up when I see these D&D channels on YouTube, and all of their thumbnails, the little images, it doesn't matter what channel it is, they all look the same, and it's some guy with a beard, like oh wow, they all use the same font. It's like, and then I see it's like 140,000 views in a week. And it's kind of funny because I'm like, okay, what I would love to know is how long do those viewers watch those videos? Because I'll be like, holy cow, really? And I'll go look, and I'm like, they make my videography look professional. I'm like, okay. So Kevin Smith says that they think Wizards of the Coast learned a lesson about killing the golden goose after they followed up 3.5 with 4 and lost a big chunk of their fan base. Yes. Yeah. Here's another weird thing about Wizards of the Coast, and then we'll wrap up. I thought it was kind of interesting that because I have not had people email me before asking, when do I think 6E D&D comes out? But in the last week, I've had 3 emails. And once again, if you ever, want me to cover something or you got a question, by all means, you can reach out to me through email or touch base on Twitter, right? At thegaminggang.com. But, so Brian Gronberg says, one of my favorite sources for D&D news. The thing is, I'm sure that there are channels out there that are like, hey, you know what? They put a lot of work into this. They perfected how they wanted their thumbnails to look, and they have good content. And then, of course, all these other people mimic. They're copycats. And it's like, I'd be like, if I were that creator, I'd be like, damn you. All right. Anyway, so, I was going to say, I thought it was interesting how Wizards of the Coast supported both 3rd edition and 3.5 at the same time. It was like, so I do believe Kevin is correct that Wizards of the Coast has learned their lesson about a lot of things. One thing I think, all right, so I don't know, should I? Okay, I will talk about this because it might piss some people off. But my understanding, the Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman lawsuit with Wizards of the Coast is because Wizards of the Coast has now gone completely woke, and it's like, oh well, we can't have fictional races that are inherently evil, and it's getting to the point where this is all fictional, right? I mean, you've got people out there who claim that orcs in Dungeons and Dragons are just a stand-in for African Americans. It's like, what? It's like, where do you... I think, and I'll be very honest, I am much more a social justice warrior than probably many people out there watching. But I also think that it's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff that we're starting to see in our hobby. And my understanding is that whole lawsuit is because Wizards of the Coast did not like the finished book for Dragonlance, and it did not adhere to their new like precedent where it's like, okay, so you could be a demon, but I guess you could be a lawful good demon, because God knows we can't just have, you know, a complete. If you're a drow, everybody's like Drizzt now. Everybody's good. You got all those good drow out there. I think it's just ridiculous. So Big Clue says they've gone full metal SJW. I hate that term, though. I really do. It's not one that I use because, to be honest, I'm on that side. But because I'm not 10 years old or having the mentality of a 10-year-old, I also understand there's shades of gray in this world. It's not all black and white. So, Kabuki Kid says, I thought the work went through a bunch of reads and edits based on recommendations, so I'm surprised by the end result. So am I. I am as well. You know, part of this could also be Hasbro just not really wanting to invest all that much energy in D&D. Because we've talked about this before. Even when it's like, wow, Wizards of the Coast had a fantastic year. Their revenue compared to the rest of what Hasbro brings in is minuscule. It's tiny, single digit percentage wise. So, I don't know. I don't know. All right, so let's wrap up. I want to tell you what is on the horizon. I got lots of goodness for you on the horizon this week. Because remember, this is a short week. I'm only doing 3 episodes this week because Thursday is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And of course, Friday, I'm always off on Fridays. So later on tonight, you'll be able to check out my unboxing and first look of Caesar, Rome versus Gaul from GMT. I almost said Wizards of the Coast. I almost said Wizards of the Coast. And so I paused for a second. I'm like, GMT from my friends at GMT Games. So that'll be up tonight. Also, keep your eyes out. Now, these videos are all done. I'm just not going to release them all at one time. So I've got my unboxing for Dune Imperium, which I got to play. I actually played it the night after I did the unboxing for it. So got that as well. Another reason why I didn't release these videos is they all featured the new backdrop here. And I wanted today's show to be the unveiling of the new look of the Duct Tape Studios. Also, an unboxing and first look at Next War Vietnam, also from not Wizards of the Coast, GMT Games. I've got my review of Black Sword Hack, which is from Levers. I think it's Levers Lures, something like that. So this is a minimalist OSR role-playing game built on the Black Hack. So if you're a fan of Michael Moorcock's Eternal Champions books, this is role-playing in that vein. Also got my review of Alien Destroyer of Worlds from Free League Publishing, who we were talking about quite a bit earlier on. And my review of At the Mountains of Madness, the illustrated At the Mountains of Madness Volume 1, also from Free League Publishing. So those videos are all in the can, so to speak. I also will have my, look at this, I'm trying to move things away and not drop it on the floor. Also got my video of the Lost Ruins of Arnak on the horizon. And my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment sent me a package. Got the Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory core book. You might remember I did the review for the edition that came from Ulysses Spiel. I was kind of curious. what my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment did with this. So looks very good. I'll tell you that much. So that's on the horizon. Also, so that'll be a review I'll do of that. I am going to share a look at Soulbound, which is also Warhammer Fantasy Role Play, but it's Age of Sigmar. And Salmon did a review of this. Really, really liked it. I'm going to show this book off. I'm not going to do a review because we already have a review out, but I am going to show this book off so people can see how impressive this is. And if you are into epic fantasy role playing where your player characters are like approaching the level of demigods, Soulbound is definitely something you want to take a peek at. And I got the Game Master screen as well. So these arrived on Friday. And Ninth Level Games, who does the Excellence and Mazes, you know, they sent me that box with review copies of stuff. And according to the tracking, it's been sitting in Chicago for 11 days. So I do believe it's been lost. So I was really, really looking forward to sharing some of that with you because it was Mazes, which is not available in PDF. It's only physical. The Excellence, which is a family-friendly role-playing game of princesses, and Business Wizards, which is funny like Kobolds Ate My Baby. So sweet. So Ibram says they ran Black Sword Hack the other day as a little test game. I will not reveal anything about my review, except for the fact that the actual soft cover production brought the score down. And it's got nothing to do with the writers, anything like that. It's a print-on-demand thing from Drive-Thru RPG. So, but yeah. So maybe I'll put that up on Thanksgiving. Sweet. So A Great A is talking about 5e Wardlings by Eliza Teague. I am not sure what that is. Probably something that didn't... probably flew by. Kevin Smith mentioned the big problem with Wizards of the Coast is they didn't suck it up and pay the kill fee. Instead, they tried to do this. We're not terminating. We're just not approving anything. Yep. That was their game plan. We'll see if anybody else hits them up with some lawsuits as well. So Ibram says, that's not fair. Oh, that's fair. It's not a WoW visual product. It's not actually the WoW factor I was talking about. It's just the production quality. The quality of the paper in the soft cover, not what I'm used to seeing in a soft cover book. So, but once again, that's a Drive-Thru RPG thing. All right, that's it for tonight's show. Once again, let me point out that if you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If I can actually bring that little graphic up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you subscribe, ding that bell. Because it'll not only let you know when the live stream airs Monday through Thursdays right here on YouTube, it'll also let you know when I upload other videos as well, such as my unboxing and first look at Caesar, Rome versus Gaul from GMT Games. GMT Games, not Wizards of the Coast. All right. So all of you out there who watch live, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. I know there are a lot of people out there who also watch after the fact. Maybe they're even watching on Memorex. I appreciate them just as equally. So, of course, I will be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy your Monday night / Tuesday morning, day, afternoon, what have you. I'll see you tomorrow. And, of course, be smart, stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, click right here to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out a recent episode of the live show, click up here or roll the dice and see what YouTube recommends by clicking right here. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching. And gang, please wear masks.